What's up, TikTok? Whoa, it changed my exposure on me. Whoa, that's too dark. That's too dark. It's really sensitive. I don't like that. How's that? No, not that. Sorry, it'll stop being so shaky once I can learn how to do this. Welcome, welcome. Okay, I think I got it this time. No, still kind of washed out. Oh, it's way too sensitive. What's up, guys? So, I think the moon might be a disc. I know that, like, when we're looking at it right now, you know how I would say that it looks like a sphere, like a ball, you know? Sorry, I'm trying to keep it centered here. It's gonna wander too. I just set my telescope out. I didn't line it up or level it or anything. But we'll keep messing with it. We'll keep playing with it for fun. But there's some things about the moon that maybe some people don't know, but I think if people knew some things about the moon that I've learned, that it might seem that it couldn't be a sphere. Even though it looks like as we're looking at it right now, if you go to the right side, and it looks like it's, curving around to that side. So I'm not saying anything, crazy. I don't see anything different than you do. Because I think that I've always thought it looks like a sphere, like a ball. But when I started watching the path that it takes, here's one thing about the moon that a lot of people probably already know, is that no matter where you are in the world, like if I take a picture of the moon right now, and you go, like, especially since it's a full moon, if you go anywhere else in the world and see the moon, you could overlay the two images and they would be identical. We only see, because we live on the earth, I don't pretend about space and all that stuff. Like, obviously there's darkness of some kind up in the sky and I don't know everything about it, but there's a lot of claims made about it, right? I don't believe a lot of those claims, so big deal. But the moon, when it rises, it looks like this, right? And then when it's like directly above you, it looks like this. And then when it's setting, it looks like this. And that you can do that anywhere in the world. So I would say that if we can only ever see one side of the moon, and I've been, I have videos on my YouTube channel when I was kind of starting to mess around with telescopes. They're like 12 or 13 years ago. And I've been playing with telescopes and just kind of messing around, amateur, whatever. I don't know. I don't do it all the time or something. I have fun I have a few telescopes, and like this is my favorite telescope that we're looking through right now. It's a Meade ETX 125, and it's just I think it's called a Cassegrain, but it's a small little scope. It's a 6-inch, like a 6-inch tube, and then I got it on like a equatorial mount. Yeah, it's fun looking. I remember the first time I looked through a telescope and saw Saturn, I was like, whoa, I didn't think there was anything like that in the sky. Like, pretty weird. But the reason why the moon, I guess logic would tell you, like, if it's a sphere, then it has another side, right? Well, if it's like a disc, then it would have another side. Like you eat on your plate, you could also, you hold your plate from the bottom. You know what I mean? Like, there's two sides to a plate. But I guess my thinking isn't coming, like, I want to explain it because it's not like I'm denying all the things that we all know and have learned. It's actually that I'm thinking about it, trying to think about it with more clarity, because we've been told so many crazy things so many crazy things throughout our lives. Like, yes, Cold 93W says you can clearly see it's a sphere. And I would agree with you. It appears like it looks like a sphere, totally. And like even when the phases are happening, it's like you can see like when it's like half full, you can actually see it at certain times in twilight or whatever. You can see the other side of it. Like it looks like it's a ball. I get it. And Tangled Ink says it's a plate, and that's the reason why I'm saying that is because the observation, like all the observations that I've ever made of the moon, are just simply of a like a plate or a disc. It doesn't like obviously the atmosphere affects it. When it's closer to the horizon, it looks a little different. But we only see one side of it. I guess that's my biggest thing is that if we logically see only one side of it, let's say you're on one side of the U.S. and I'm on the other side of the U.S. and the moon is going over us, and say it's halfway between us, we could not take a picture that would be the same from distances away. But that's what happens. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. Everybody sees the same moon phase. Everybody sees the same full moon. Everybody sees the exact same side of the moon. Like we think of things like, especially a sphere, it doesn't have just one side, or a plate even. But I guess I'm trying to think of it from actual reality. Where I live is on the earth beneath the moon, below the moon. So if there is another side to it, I'm probably never going to see it with my eyes. You know, at least not while I'm alive in this world. So I think there's one side. We only ever experience one side. We only observe one side. So, and so let's say, well, it could be like a half sphere, because that's kind of what it looks like. And sorry, there's a little bit of a haze going through, so that's a little cloudy or a little fuzzy, but I guess there's the moon is one of the most mysterious things that I've ever like looked at with my eyes. Because here's just an interesting thing that we've all seen. We've all seen the... Oh, yeah, someone just followed me. I missed the name, but yeah, you guys should follow. I haven't been doing a ton of videos. Oh, this isn't quite a full moon, but it's close. And actually, you know what? I think my camera's slipping. Let me... Oh, I have my camera just rigged on here. I screwed up, guys. We'll get right back on it. Sorry. I have a crappy mount that I made, and I shouldn't have bumped it. All right. I better get the remote back. Okay. I guess, okay, here's another thing. When the moon rises, like if you do a time lapse, right, of the moon, oh, I wish I could show you. I just did it. I was working earlier I was working and I seen the moon come up, so I was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do a time lapse. So I did a time lapse of the moon rising up. And it doesn't look like it's just like, to me, it looks like it's coming from far away and it's like on its way to me. Like this is an observation I make. This is my life. That's how I see it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm right or wrong. I'm experiencing it. So, you know what I'm saying? Like the moon I'm looking at there, that's a one-sided thing for a human being that lives on Earth. As far as history and everything, as far as I'm aware of, at no time has it ever been any different than it is now. I mean, it has phases and everything, but I'm saying centuries ago it wasn't like a different shape or color or size or something, or a different, you know what I'm saying? I think God made it like this. He made it all so that consistency, because if you actually think about it, what is the moon? The moon is a light And some people think that it's reflecting the sun's light. I just don't think that at all myself. I think it's clearly a light. I'm in the dark right now, and it is bright out here. There's shadows from this light. It's definitely a light. So whether it's light from the sun, I don't know. I don't live up there. But so this bright light in the sky, ever since I can remember, has been doing these phases, and they're very consistent. That's like one of the most consistent things time-wise in the sky, I think. Hey, I like that. Birdman said, if you look at a bowl upside down, you can't see the sides like you are when you look at the moon. I think there's like a lot of assumptions that we make visually of things that let's just compare it with a basketball or whatever, the shape, I mean. So if the moon was like a basketball, to me that's like an error that is being done in logic, like to make sense of something. Like I don't know, I don't have the best vocabulary, but to make sense of something for me, there can't be things I don't understand or things that don't make sense to me. I have to understand, and I think every one of us is like that. For us to understand a concept, we have to understand what it even is, and then we can kind of make a decision. Oh, that seems that's what's happening, or that's not, or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. There's way too many things that are taught in school that are just straight lies. Whoops, that was my fault. Here's an example. The Earth rotates, they say. Based on what evidence? If someone I'm not like trying to like challenge people, but it is very interesting to go to ask someone, why does the teachers and the physics, and why did they teach things that, like physics, for example, tangible things that we can touch and measure and feel and are physical in this world? There's facts about those things that we can know. I mean, like geometry and things like that. We can triangulate, like, there's so much we can do to understand things that we can touch and feel, and physical things that we experience. And I think we need to separate the moon and the sun and the stars. We could do, like, you can believe what you want, but if you're going to say, well, the moon looks like a sphere, it's probably a sphere, it's probably a rock because it looks dusty or it looks like a rock. The last time that I saw a rock ever in the air, it instantly fell to the ground unless it was like ballistic, being thrown. If there's a rock in the air, it's dense and it falls immediately. I think God put this, sorry, I'm trying to do it with the remote and it's not working. God put this light in the sky. And what did it say in the Bible? Oh, it's slipping, that's my problem. The moon is like almost directly, like in like an hour, it'll be like directly above me, like zenith. Tangible things, we can do experiments with water and there's a lot we can know, but the moon is, I guess I'll say it's celestial. It's not something tangible to you. Well, of course, Buzz Aldrin, those guys, it's tangible to them, apparently, to 12 of them. Almost all dead dudes now, I'm sure. I tend to not believe dead dudes that have stories myself, but Buzz Aldrin's still going around telling people that they didn't go, so I don't know. I believe him. I think that they probably, I don't know what happened there. I think it's actually probably something more on the supernatural end of deception happening there. There's, I don't know if you guys like the Book of Enoch. There's some stuff in that book. Holy cow. Talks about these, he says the ones that, he's like in this place of darkness. And he said, those who were there were like flames of fire. And I'm paraphrasing because I don't know the exact words, but he said, and they can take the form of man when they wish. So, like, there's so much in that book that, to me, just to me, that book is proper, essential for a generation of people that's alive now. I think that's my thought. Like it says, the first verse in the book of Enoch. Go read that first verse. It might blow your mind, because the first verse in the book of Enoch, it tells you specifically what the book is for. And when you read it, it describes the world we live in really in a scary way. But he went up and he saw like Sheol. He saw all the, like, he was taken kind of like and shown like, I guess more like the heavenly parts or the spiritual parts of creation, like the abysses and the like Abraham's bosom and those kinds of places that we probably can't see with our eyes, and but that would be like, those places they'd be like the moon, because okay, let's say take Sheol, or I guess hell, or what, I don't think it's hell, but the place where the souls, like when you die, your soul goes to this place to wait for the resurrection and judgment. Like that's everybody that's lived, I believe. But I think when Jesus came, this is probably controversial, but to me it's not controversial, but I think it is to a lot of people. When Jesus came and he was crucified, and the Bible says that he went and descended into the heart of the earth. That's where hell was. People think, they say hell's beneath you. And I say, well, yeah, I agree. Hell was beneath, it was in the heart of the earth. But I think that was only until Jesus was crucified. When he died, when he was resurrected, what happened? Like it says straight up in Matthew, I think 27, like dead people came out of their graves and they went up I think they went up into the sky, into New Jerusalem. Like the bodies of the saints, the people that were buried, that were dead, like I would say like Adam and Eve and anyone that had lived up until that point, that was a resurrection. Well, it was Jesus, but I think when he descended into hell, he judged that place. And I think he led the like all the evil, unclean spirits and stuff, he led them to an abyss. Like all the evil, unclean spirits and stuff, he led them to an abyss. And I think that NASA thinks they go, like NASA and SpaceX are trying to go to. Whatever you call it, the solar system. You guys, I really do think that's the prison for the fallen angels, the solar system. If you read the book, like, I don't know how the prophet, like Enoch, how did Enoch know that there was 7 planets? Because he clearly saw them. And what he was told is that they were bound, orbiting a fire. Like they were, what's the word? It's not orbiting. I don't want to mislead anyone. The word was, it's in chapter 18 of the book of Enoch. It said that he was like, he went to this horrible place and he said, I saw there 7 stars who were bound together in it or something. And they were the stars that transgressed the commandment given by God, like for their prescribed order. Because they're like he has order to the sky, and that's how we have time. But so these 7, just 7, disobeyed him. And so he was angry with them, and he bound them. He imprisoned them and said, rolling over a fire. That's what it said. Well, you guys, that's what the solar system is. Rolling over a fire. The sun. 7 planets orbiting the sun. We don't live there. That's like more like hell than anything else. If you think about it, the earth is the part beneath us. It's not in the sky. We do see a solar system in the sky. I mean, we all know what the sun is. And throughout time, if we look at Saturn and Mars and all the planets, they do orbit the sun. They go around the sun in circles, like they orbit the sun. But the Earth doesn't, you guys. That's what's crazy to me. We were all taught that the Earth, like people think it's dumb to question the solar system or something. I'm like, I think it's like crazy to just accept something like that. That's so crazy. It's insane. Yeah, there's some clouds rolling in. It's like you can still see the moon, but when I look up, there's a whole thick layer of clouds. I'm surprised we can see it that good even. Let's just zoom in for the fun of it. How about? Oops. How do you do that? Oh, it got bright. Whoa. I messed up, but let me get it back. I didn't try to zoom in that far, but okay, there we go. I pushed the wrong button. It's actually cold out, and I think it's my fingers aren't getting good. I wanted to make it so you can see the clouds a little better, maybe. I don't know. So yeah, I think the moon's a disk, and because when it rises, like obviously your camera has to, like if you watch it rise, like with your camera, you're facing east. Well, throughout the day, by the time it's setting, you've had to like do some gymnastics with your camera. You're facing east. You have to go up, and then kind of start facing south or wherever the moon is, and then so you're turning at also, and then you start going down towards. So you're facing west when you're going out. So if you figure what that does to the video that you're taking, and you like if you just kind of zero that out, the moon is it is going over us, like rising and setting. It's passing over us as if it was a plate or like a disc. Moon and sun are local in the firmament. Read your Bibles. Dang right. Truth will be made, what did he say? Manifest. The lies will be exposed one day. That's the Son of God. It's a promise he made. He said if you are his disciple, or if you stay in his word, like if you stay in his word, you're his disciple, and you will know the truth, and it will set you free. So I think we're all learning, I think we're learning about a lot of the lies, and then we're being, well, he said that he would send the Spirit of truth to guide us into the truth. And he will show us things to come. I think that's what's happening, guys. That's my take. But I'm just one person, so. So we'll zoom back out, but the clouds are getting thicker, guys. Try to zoom back out. There we go. Man, that thing is bright. I have one of those thermometer, or those temperature I don't know, infrared thing. I want to mess with that tonight and see because there's like shadows. I can see shadows all over the place. Oh, there, the clouds kind of disappeared for a second. Hold on here. They're actually moving fast, so whoops, that's a little dark. Ooh, sorry, I'm trying to get... This TikTok app is touchy with the exposure. Or maybe it's just me. It could be an operator error. Sorry, guys. There we go. That's what I was trying to get. I'm not trying to blind you. Can you see Plato? No. Pluto? No. I don't think anyone can, actually. I think... Isn't Pluto more of a mathematical planet? I don't know if anyone's ever seen Pluto. But I could be totally wrong. I just don't know if I've ever... I think that's one that maybe they verified it somewhere or something. I think they mathematically kind of came to the conclusion that there would be a planet there or something. I don't know. Man, my exposure's having trouble with them clouds. It's like a haze, but it's kind of going in and out. Pluto can be seen visually, though. Okay, just dim around magnitude 14. Okay, yeah, I got a 6-inch telescope that we're looking through right now, and I also have a 8-inch Dobsonian reflector, which is a nice, like it's nice, but I think I'm just totally guessing that to see something like that, I'd probably need something, maybe even like not like amateur. Like I'm just saying, maybe we'd have to go to an observatory to try to find something like that. I don't know. Hey, you guys heard about stellar parallax, right? Here's one for you. Let's just debunk measuring the distance to stars. You can't. Okay, they'll tell you that they can't. Well, yeah, we can. We can do measure stellar parallax, and what we can do is, let's say today we go and we're going to look at some stars, and we're going to write some stuff down, take some images, and know exactly in the sky what we were imaging, or like where we were imaging. And then 6 months later, and you guys will understand why this 6 months is important. 6 months later, we'll go back and we'll once again look at the same part of the sky, and we'll take all of our details and measurements that we took the 6 months previous, and that will give those two measurements. Like the reason why why people think you could use those two basically the how the stars move relative to each other, or relative to the background stars, I guess. But what happens is 6 months in time, there's an assumption being made that the Earth is orbiting around the sun. And so if you look at that, image that no one's ever actually seen, the sun and the Earth is like orbiting around it. Well, 6 months would be on one side, and then 6 months later you'd be on the other side, right? So that is actually, they say it's 93 million miles from the Earth to the sun. So what that would mean is that 6 months gave you it gave you a vantage point difference of 186 million miles. So you can create a triangle by those observations you made 6 months apart, because they would be slightly different. And you can basically do the math and get the distance to those stars. Problem, and it's an obvious one, the observatory you went to 6 months apart from each other and assumed that you were at two different points 109 or 186 million miles from each other, you parked in the same parking spot, bro. You didn't go anywhere. You're looking at it from the same observatory. It didn't move. So it's actually all the things that these assumptions they're making are simply made by looking at the sky and assuming that something is happening that clearly there's no reason. Okay, I think the word's veracity. If you want to say stellar parallax is or any way that you could measure the distance to a pinpoint of light in the sky, you've been indoctrinated. And you're not alone in that. I've been indoctrinated. This world's been indoctrinated. And I think we actually, if we all are honest with ourselves, we can actually see it in ourselves. We can be like, yeah, there's pressure to, believe or to kind of keep a certain idea. But I think we got to be really careful. Spaced Out says, we also use a bit of spectroscopy in them. Stellar parallax is only for close stars. But see, you're saying close stars. I don't think you can measure the distance to a star. And I mean like at all. I guess it goes to the tangible and then sort of like celestial, untouchable, and of course I have to mention the moon landing. If they went to the moon, if they went to the moon, first of all, it was a sin. And it was Luciferian. I don't know if you were ready for me to say that. Space exploration is from Lucifer. And that's in the Bible. I'm not saying space exploration is, but Lucifer, in the prophet Isaiah, described what Lucifer's plans were, what he had in his heart to do. And it was to ascend up into the sky and to place his throne in the sky and to be like God, to be God. Well, I think NASA's like been working on that, since King Nimrod built the Tower of Babel. Then now we got NASA and we got SpaceX in there. They built a much higher tower than the Tower of Babel. The Dragon capsule is like, it is like, if you consider the sky that, like, here, let me move my telescope. Okay, see right there? Whoops. See right there? You can kind of see the clouds, but that's called darkness. And God divided it from the light. It's different than light. Okay, so darkness, who rules the night sky? Well, that'd clearly be the SpaceX Dragon, Elon Musk, like the NASA's only way to get, well, nearly only one of the ways to get to the space station, which is probably just Lucifer's throne up in heaven that he placed there. And so I just say we should all be careful what we do believe about what's going on in the sky. Same with the Apostle Paul warned us about it. He said we're not struggling against flesh and blood, which that would be all of us. We're like flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities and the rulers of the darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in heavenly places. So, like, if we just take Paul for what he said, he's saying, oh yeah, you guys, by the way, don't worry about like your fellow man doing, like, that's not the problem. It's actually up in the sky. There's these evil spirits that are like, they're of another nature. That's who is, if you want to put it to, like, that's who's destroying or trying to destroy. Do you get what I'm saying? I just think, I mean, Lucifer, he said, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. But then the prophet Isaiah, he said, but you will be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. So when Chris Hadfield, the NASA astronaut, he was doing, this is many years ago, he was doing like an interview, and he was talking about photography in space, how they, like, some of the issues they have with photography. And just talking about it a little bit, and he said, I'll try to quote it. He said, space is, what did he say? He said, it's a deep black, so black, or so deep it almost has a texture to it. And he said, it's a bottomless pit of deep black. Why would he say it's a bottomless pit? I can explain why. Because that's what NASA thinks it is. Like, literally, they, like, okay, your version of physics is probably different than mine. Because I don't think there's physics in heaven. Like, well, there is, but I don't think, it's nothing like the physics, like, that we could do an experiment on the ground here, you know? I mean, you can't, like, falsify something about the moon. You can't, like, it's not touchable. Like, it's far away. It's heavenly. It's like part of God's realm, and we can see it. And like the sun, we can see it, and it gives us heat and everything. But I don't think anyone's ever touching it. That's my thought. I don't think anyone's ever going to touch it. Yeah, you guys make sure to follow too. My TikTok, I haven't been on a lot. I have been busy, and I haven't even been on YouTube at all much either. But I do have a YouTube channel, same name, F'd Up World. But I was actually, okay, so there's like a sort of like a debate going on if the earth was flat or a globe for many years now. But one interesting thing that's happening is that like, some of the people think that if the sun, I'm not going to try to explain the whole thing. It doesn't really matter to me anyway. I mean, I think it's going to be cool to see to find out what they see. But I think there's videos all over TikTok of people walking around in Antarctica. Like, right now, there's a guy, I think I followed him, but he just shoots little videos of the clouds and stuff. Like, he's stationed at Scott something base, something, I don't know. But he just like takes videos every day and puts them online. And he's in Antarctica. And the sun hasn't been down since like March or something, he said, or I don't know what month. But it's down. The sun stays up for like 6 months. That's what they say. So to me, that's really interesting, but I don't understand it. Like, I tend to believe that if the Earth was flat, that it would be like with the North Pole in the middle, and it would be like the outside would be Antarctica, so it wouldn't be like an island. It would be more like a surrounding. But that's what I think. If it's flat, that makes sense. But if the sun was like, put yourself on that edge, like on that surrounding, like where it'd be ice, like Antarctica. If it was a flat model, put yourself there, and then face. It would be south, but face away from north. If you see the sun doing a circle above your head when you're facing south, man, that really makes it seem like that the flatter thing I was just describing with north and that doesn't make any sense then. To me, I can't put two and two together like that. But I mean, but here's one interesting thing. So the Bible does say, it's in the same book, Isaiah. He says that the sun circles in the sky. Like it goes, it circles around like it's running a race. And so if they see that, it's not going to phase my thinking. Like, I think that, okay, yeah, the Bible is very true in Antarctica. But then I was just listening to the book of Enoch. I had a kind of a long drive the last couple of days, and I was listening to the book of Enoch. And you guys, there's stuff, every time I listen to it, like with something else that I'm thinking about, it's crazy how you hear stuff, every time I listen to it, like with something else that I'm thinking about, it's crazy how you hear stuff that you did. But, oh man. And I learned some things about heaven, like from Enoch. He said, first of all, did you know that there's a circumference to the heaven? Heaven is a circle. I didn't really know that. Heaven is shaped like a circle. And also, when he was talking about the sun and the moon, he kept calling them the disk of the sun and the disk of the moon. And he also said that they're the same size as each other, which that's what it looks like when they're in the sky. They look approximately the same size. And it seems like with eclipses, we can see maybe there's some distance between them going back and forth a little bit. Like maybe, I don't know. It's like, to me, I agree with Enoch. So I don't agree with the science people that are faking their science. I believe it. I think Enoch is like way more accurate. And then when Enoch talks about the moon, and when Enoch talks about the stars and the sun, and he calls them, like, okay, Uriel is one of the holy angels. Like, Uriel's in charge of all these, what did he call them? He said what was it? It was started with an S. There's like classes of angels, and there's like a whole hierarchy of angelic, I don't know, government, or I don't know what you call it. Do you guys get, like, I'm not good with my vocabulary, but there's like a whole system of angelic powers and it's like organized. Like, okay, just like something's tangible to us, like you could pick up silly putty and mess it around in your hands. You could, right now, like somebody, it would be Meade, the telescope maker. They took like glass and then they got it really hot and like really made precision lenses and mirrors and polished these mirrors just the right shape. And like by doing all this specific, careful stuff, all of a sudden we're looking at the moon like this. That's crazy to me. But the physical things we can do in the world are amazing. But I don't think we can do them in the sky. Like, I mean, we can fly airplanes and stuff, but like what happens when you want to go higher than the airplane? Like they only can do rockets, right? Well, you guys, rockets. What? Have you ever been bow hunting, like with a bow and arrow? Or just even target shooting or anything like that? Like that's Elon Musk. That's what he does every day. He's like, point them up. He's like raises with one hand, he raises the middle finger to God, and with the other hand, he's hitting the button to shoot an arrow at God. And then he's on the with that's his hands, and then on his little earbuds, he's on the phone with all these other Luciferians trying to sell real estate up in the sky. So he's like saying, no, that's not God's, that's mine. I know how to get there. I can sell you, I can hook you up. I'll give you communication. Do you guys see what's happening? Starlink, we got communications in Antarctica everywhere in the world now. Like, okay, so they have, like, SpaceX just since 2019 has launched, they're well over 6,000 Starlink satellites that they've launched. So let me just bring it back to the Bible again. In the Bible, there's a story, or in the book of Revelation, there's this crazy time talked about, and it talks about this this plague of great hail, or a great plague of hail, one or the other, but it was hail, and it said, like, I can't remember what the weight measurement was, but it's like something like 75 pounds or something, somewhere in that range, and it said a great plague of hail fell from the sky. To me, it's just like a coloring book, and we're just about colored in. We're just about to the end, and we're coloring in the final little places. It's like everything's happening. Like Elon Musk. That's a crazy dude, man. He's like in with the new president. That's an interesting thing. And also, he like owns X or whatever, major social platform, and then he launches rockets. He's trying to like go to Mars. Oh yeah, and he also has a brain chip that they've put in a human being's brain now, and he can play. He can do the mouse cursor just by thinking. Go look at it. It's called Neuralink. Go look at the guy. I forgot what his name is, that got the first one, and he's like, whoa, it's amazing. And they're like, it's the first one. There's a few things that they're like, oh, we'd have done this, or we're going to change this or whatever. And they're developing. It's crazy. I just think that it's becoming clear to me, if you look at someone's actions, or like what they do, or what they're interested in, or put their mind and money into, and time, you can kind of tell if they believe in God or not. I guess that's how I would say it. Because a lot of the things, like trying to send a rocket up to the sky, first of all, guys, what for? There's nothing up there. Like, they even know, nobody claims that there's anything up there. There's nothing that you can live, like, why don't we stay on Earth? God gives us everything here. Like, everything. And we live a life of a however many years we get, and then who knows? Then probably wait and probably have to speak for everything you've done, or which that's a scary thought for every one of us. I know that is, to have to be admit all the wrong, and like even things that you don't even remember. All of a sudden it'll all be right in front of you, and I'm like, man, that's just gonna be an ugly scene in that room, whatever. If that ever happens with me, like oh man, I'm not good. You know what I mean? And I think we all feel that way. There's all things, like all of us do things that we know, or that we know we want to overcome, or we want to I want to live different, or I think everyone's like that. And I'm 47, and since I could think on my own, I don't think I've ever experienced a day where I was happy with the way I behaved, and the way I treated everyone, and the way that I was honest. And you know what I mean? Like, there's never been a day where I sat back and said, man, I was right on today. Never. Like, no matter what, there's always something I'm like, dude, you're just like, kind of like, I'd be ashamed. Like, and I know God watches, but I'm just saying, like, some of the things, and I think we all do it, man. We all know he's watching, and we're like, oh, dude, like, however, like, there's so many ways to be like, to be how we don't want to be, and then you got to think about it the rest of your life, like how you were, and you're like, oh man, that's so wrong. How could anyone ever, like, like, forgive some of these things? How could people forgive that? If that, like, is that in me? I don't want that to be part of me. Like that, I think we just learn that as we get older. We look back and we're like, dude, what was wrong with me? What was I thinking? I wasn't thinking. Like, I think for me, I think that a lot of that was, I was like blind to everything in that way. I mean, whether it was right or wrong and that kind of stuff. Okay, I like what AC says here. Then ask God to forgive you and accept his love and don't break the 10 Commandments. Yeah, I couldn't be said better. But it's very easy to say that, very hard to do it. I mean, I would say that that's like a perfect description, though, of what I would say if I was successful every day and I'm like conquered, that I'd be able to say that, you know, that I kept the commands and that I loved my neighbor and God before anyone. Can you record some of those pulsating stars? Yeah, let's check it out. We can do it right now. Oh man, let's see what we got. I'm actually like surrounded by trees and stuff, but there's actually, I don't know, that would be, my phone will be dead by then. By the way, if the live ends really quick, it's just because my phone died, because I think it's on like 3%, and I'm sure doing TikTok, it takes a little bit of battery. Okay, so I gotta see if I can find it. My spotting scope battery's dead, so we're going off I don't know if we're gonna find it. You know what, we're not. Oh wait, maybe we will. Oh, you know what I gotta do? I gotta turn the exposure back up. I had it way down, so we wouldn't see any anyway. Okay, let's see if we can find it now. Oh, we found something there. I saw something. There we go. There's something. I don't know what star it is, but it's blue. That's cool. We'll zoom in on it too. That is pretty cool. It's like really blue. All right, hold on. Give me a moment. I gotta just, we must be zoomed in a little bit already, because let me get it to the center of the screen if I can, so we can see it better and zoom in on it. Where'd you go? Oh, there it is. Oh, wrong way. Oh, I saw one up above there too, but we're gonna go for that blue one quick. Where'd it go? Am I going the right way? I think my telescope is slipping is what it's doing. Ah, there it is. Okay. Yeah, let's look at, we gotta focus it, but I'm gonna zoom in first and we'll see what we can do here. It almost looks like it's white and blue, doesn't it? Whoops, I just hit the like button in my video. I didn't know I could do that. Ooh, okay, we're zooming it. Oh man, every time I try to zoom in, it does something on the button. Swipe left to close. Okay, now we gotta focus it because it's got all bad. Here, let's see. I gotta kind of manually hold this. It'll be a little shaky, but I think my camera slipped, guys. I feel like under pressure because my battery's I feel like it's gonna die any second. But if it does, ta-ta for now. Okay, let's see if we can get this back in here in the center. I'm just doing this manually because my remote is not performing well. Okay, we're just gonna let it sit there. And I'm gonna zoom in. I'm already all zoomed in, I think. Yep. And I'm gonna turn it as bright as I can go. I just wanna see what it looks like. Okay, now I'm done messing with it. So once it's done wobbling, it can sit there a minute. Yeah, make sure you follow the live creator. I'm a live creator. Billy Grooms joined. Billy Graham. Thanks for following, Gina. No, but our sun is a disk inside the firmament. The other sun on the outside. Ooh, interesting. I like that. I like that thinking there. That does make some sense. Like if there was like a source of light that was like out of this world, but there was like a, I don't know, a focal point or something for each one of us. And that's what, when I was reading the Book of Enoch, that I was getting the idea that, like, some of the things he was describing, like the portals and gates where the sun goes and everything, to me that seemed localized to one person. Like that there would be gates this direction and all that. So it's like, I don't know how to understand it, but that's, I've been listening to that over and over and over again. I'm trying to figure out what the sun does do at the ends of the earth, according to the Book of Enoch. And I haven't quite got there, but I'm working on it. I'm trying to figure it out. All right, guys, I'm actually going to try to turn this off before my phone dies because I don't know if it'll do it right otherwise. I'm a flathead, but truth is truth, brother. You're not in focus, though. I agree it's not in focus. Let me show you one thing really quick, though. I'm not touching the focus. But, yeah, I know. It's hard to get a star in focus, actually. But I'm going back to the moon real quick, if I can find it. Okay. I haven't messed with the focus. I just wanted to see if the moon was kind of like in focus. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Whoa, that's bright. We got to do something about that. That's how far in we were zoomed in. See that? It's focused, you guys, on the moon. And I'm not saying the star was focused well. It wasn't. It's like a little blurry. But if I was to get it like just right, it seems like if I go to the moon or another planet or something, they're always in focus. And to me, that again doesn't display something that works on a tangible level. If tangible things that we know, when something's in focus right next to you, you can't. I think you guys understand what I mean. If something's a mile away from you and then a foot away from you, you can't see them both in focus, like with a camera. Or if you focus on the close one, the back one becomes blurry. If you focus on the back one, the close one becomes blurry. So it's like the sun and the moon and the stars appear to be very much similar in distance, if we can apply the tangible, expectations that we get on Earth. But perfect timing. It's getting all hazy and my phone's gonna die. Much love, guys. Make sure to follow and check out my YouTube also. I'm actually maybe thinking of going live tonight just to talk about, I have the Book of Enoch. I just wanted to read some stuff there. So maybe I will. Maybe I'll go live on YouTube. And it's EFTUPWRLD. Love you guys. Have a great night.